Hi everyone, welcome to the indie game development blog of Irritum. Now this video is just going to go over my basic programming I did for the basic mechanic of the game, which is being able to switch colors and planes. So right now I just created the first person controller prefab that came with Unity. I just dragged him into the scene. I just got him in there to test it, even though the game will end up being third person. And to do the main mechanic, I made a switch case statement, where it is based on whatever the switch is, what string it is, whether red, blue, yellow, green, purple, or orange. I execute whatever's in that block that you see here. I end up moving it to its own method. Separating it will be easier instead of just cramming all of it into the update function, which is called per frame. So whenever in the update function I get an input, I'll just call the change color method and it'll take care of everything for me. And here I'm just adding the layers, and I'm deactivating them since it starts with them on a default. And then in here, I'm just going to add physics.ignore collision and put in the correct parameters. This will turn on the physics for, or the collision for whatever layer I want it to be in. And then deactivate the ones I don't want you to be able to interact with. I'm also adding in a color activated boolean to determine what color the player already has active. I don't want the player to be able to spam red and have it toggle, and have it toggle on and off. I want them to be able to press it, 6 times as fast as they can and still be sure that they're going to land on it. Otherwise, they could press it twice by accident and just miss it, or they could just want to double check that they're actually pressing it and fall through it. So you see I'm doing the test here. I changed the input for all the colors into 1 through 6. Like I said before, this might change, mostly because 4, 5, and 6 aren't the easiest to reach. You can still reach them, but it takes a minute to get used to it and set up your hand, and sometimes you can accidentally get those mixed up very easily, so I'll probably change that later. Here I brought in my textures that I already created. I had a video for that, but iMovie screwed it up and it's completely gone now. So in another video where I do some more textures, I'll go on more about what I did to actually create those textures that you see here. And I made them in GIMP. It's like a free version of Photoshop. I suggest, if you guys are looking for a program, I suggest using that one. So right now I'm just testing, making sure that they're all working. I'm adding the scripts to the player, and just making sure that they activate correctly, deactivate correctly, which they appear to be, at least a little bit. So after jumping around a bit, I've tried to check every single one of them, make sure that I'm not missing something. I usually copy and pasted them, but here I'm messing with the different shaders for the material, just trying to find one that makes it clear. And I knew they were in particles, but I didn't want to use that because I need to access the alpha channel, or I was thinking I would have to. So I ended up just sticking with it, making 2 different materials, one for when they're activated, one for when they're deactivated. I think only in this video you see them when they are activated. So they're like a bright, vibrant color, and then the black that was on the texture is actually clear. And you see I do this with all 6 of the colors. Now here, what I want it to do is when you deactivate a color, I want it to get very transparent. And when you activate it, it's going to get very vibrant. So this is a good indication to the player what you can touch and what you can't touch. I tried accessing the alpha channel and it didn't work. I tried setting the color of the texture, of the material, of the render. I tried setting them all to solid color and then to clear, or actually modifying the color values themselves, but it never actually worked. You see here they're floating away because they're not kinematic yet, but it never actually worked the way I wanted it to. So I just ended up creating a second material for these objects and just made that one faded down. And whenever I switched, I just made that object, or I just made that material take over the current one. So whenever you toggle it, it just switches back and forth. It's much easier to do. So So that about wraps it up. Thank everyone for watching, and see you next time.